The secrets of free energy, the secret space program, or the true nature of the cosmos. The governments of the world and the hidden masters of the New World Order are, at this point, the most discussed topic in the online environment and vehemently denied by the American government.
Did you look? Did you see? Did you explore?
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really? Did you go through the secret files, the UFO documents? Because if I was president, that'd be the first thing I did.
You know, it's funny. My daughters asked the very same question.
They did?
Yeah.
Would you be allowed to tell your daughters what was in those files?
No.
You would not?
No.
Now that you're out of office, you can do anything you want, right?
True, yeah. But I'm not telling you.
It makes it increasingly less likely that we're alone.
Oh, you're trying to give me a hint that there are aliens.
No, I'm trying to tell you I don't know.
But I would like us to go into those files and hopefully make as much of that public as possible. If there's nothing there, let's tell people there's nothing there.
What if there is something there?
Well, if there is something there, unless it's a threat to national security, I think we ought to share it with the public.
The aliens won't let it happen. You reveal all their secrets. They exercise strict control over us.
As we all know, the media, still in the hands of the global evil elite, do not sweat any words about the existing technologies it owns that could pull mankind away from the crisis, but also from the fossil fuel age and the provision of free energy to mankind, thus making an enormous leap in the evolution of civilization.
A whopping $6.5 trillion of taxpayer cash have gone to defense programs, and this black budget has sparked concerns over political fraud, as Gained Chikan now reports.
Black budget spending, as well as the causes behind greater levels of spending at the local and national.
The so-called black budget has never been shown to the public.
Black budget began to come to light after October-November 2012 and rely primarily on the personal testimony of an insider named Daniel, who claims to have been part of the Montauk Project, which later turned into Phoenix 1, 2, and 3. These black budget projects are carefully guarded by the eyes of the public. One of the main objectives involved in these projects was the testing and development of many technologies based on Nikola Tesla's work: cold fusion, Pons and Fleischmann, nuclear energy reacts, antimatter and anti-hydrogen propulsion systems, and others. The development of these technologies has led to the creation of a secret space program that goes well beyond the scope of information NASA has chosen to publicly release in terms of the true nature of the cosmos.
Liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis on a mission to build, resupply, and to do research on the International Space Station.
Houston now controlling. Atlantis begins its penultimate journey to shore up the International Space Station.
Many of these projects are funded from the black budget, with huge sums of money, and by the global banking cartel as part of the diversion of global collateral accounts. One of the most stunning public information on the existence of this secret space program comes from the testimony of British Gary McKinnon. His story is extraordinary. From February 2001 to March 2002, McKinnon, as an independent computer system administrator, managed to gain access to the highly classified documentation of the Pentagon's computer networks. The U.S. government claims that McKinnon violated the operating law in the Defense Ministry's IT system, which posed a threat to national security.
We completely understand that Gary McKinnon stands accused of a very important and significant crime in terms of hacking into vital databases, and nobody denies that that is an important crime that has to be considered.
Well, one of the things that David and I discussed was the increasing challenge that we're going to face as a consequence of the internet and the need for us to cooperate extensively on issues of cybersecurity.
The first thing was documentation. I used a program called Land Search, I think, that once you had control over the domain, because you'd get control of domain controllers, so you own the whole network, basically. And LAN search could actually search all the files and folders on every machine. And obviously it's hard because things aren't going to be called secret UFO data.pdf, are they? So, but I'd scan and look for documents, etc., and I found an Excel spreadsheet that was actually called, or at least in the heading of the column, it said non-terrestrial officers. And I was like, my God, that's just
non-terrestrial officers.
Non-terrestrial officers, with ranks and names, and then a separate sheet with tabs for material transfer between ships. And these were, I mean, I don't remember the names now. It's a long time ago. A lot of people give me a hard time for not remembering the names and stuff, but it was a long time ago.
Right.
But non-terrestrial officers, I thought, well, it must be, let's try and cut out all the possible conventional explanations first. I searched for that term, it was nowhere. It was nowhere at all. Now if you search for the term, you only find links to me and stuff that I've said.
Right, I see.
So it wasn't a standard thing in the military at all.
Right.
So I took that to be, they must have a secret space-based.
The government tagged McKinnon as hacker and cyber terrorist. Over the years, the U.S. government has demanded the extradition of McKinnon from England. However, there was an obstacle in their plans. If he was extradited, he had the legal right to appear before a court, and there is the risk of revealing the true nature of information in the Pentagon's computer files. The existence of the Solar Warden codename given to a particular area in the secret space program. McKinnon admitted during live interviews that the government's accusations against him are being manufactured, and he has not caused any harm to the Pentagon's digital operating systems. Once the U.S. government learned about the true nature of the information over which McKinnon fined, the U.S. abandoned the accusations against him, despite the fact that the U.S. considered him a cyber terrorist.
And I only got to see about half or 2/3 of it or something, but it was a hemisphere of a planet, which I assume was Earth, because it was blue and it was cloudy. And but it was a classic cigar shape, with no seams, no rivets, no sort of workmanship on the outside. But it did have one sort of human-looking thing, which was the sort of geodesic domes that you see at Men with Hell. Above and below, to the left and the right, and one on its nose, and I assume, one on this side, and I assume one on the other side as well. So I mean, some people say that could have been man-made because of that geodesic dome feature. But the fact of it all flowed in. There was no, there's the tube, and there's a socket for the dome. It was all a flowing, But that's when I saw someone else, the mouse moved, right-clicked on the LAN icon, disconnect, and boom, that was gone.
If these black-budget technologies were released in the world and properly funded, in a generation or even less, we would see the complete end of fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas, and even nuclear energy that would be replaced by Tesla electromagnetism, anti-gravity and anti-hydrogen systems, and much more. This would remove national boundaries and limits and eliminate the need for control structures of any kind, including governments. We also enter a new era of travel in the universe, through which we as human beings move beyond the planetary boundaries and our solar system.
To seek out new life forms and new civilizations. To boldly go where no one has gone.
Exchange technology and experience with the civilizations of the universe. But when it is considered that the ramifications of these things, for those who hold power today in this world, secret societies, bankers, fossil fuel companies, etc., become dangerous for their control over the planet, they will go very far in their actions.
Oh my God,
for that these technologies are never made available to the public, and disclosure of the true nature of the cosmos is a well-guarded secret. McKinnon was charged by the Bush administration for having committed the biggest military computer hack of all time, facing prison time up to 70 years after extradition from the UK.
In March of 2002, I was arrested for hacking into Army, Navy and Air Force computers, as well as the Pentagon and NASA. The arresting officers from the National High-Tech Crime Unit, which is now part of SOCA, the Serious Organised Crime Agency, told me that I'd probably do 6 months community service. This turned out to be a highly inaccurate prediction. My arresting officers went to Washington and met with some top brass to discuss my case, and also to illegally hand over my hard drive to US authorities, which they're still in possession of. The police officers were obviously very impressed by the military officers they'd met, because when they returned from Washington and interviewed me for the second time, they had a very serious tone about them. It was a very different ball game by then. The second interview was in the summer of 2002, in August, I think. And in November of the same year, the US authorities announced that they intended to extradite me to stand trial in America. And on paper, at least, I was facing 70 years in jail, which was a far cry from 6 months community service.
However, trying McKenna in an open court would involve his testifying to the above classified facts, and his attorney would be able to subpoena government officers to testify under oath about the U.S. space fleet.